Hi, you're watching Accelerator TV. I'm Vivian and I'm sitting here with Heidi from Get Physical, the Berlin electro-house label. She's just been on a 3-week tour with M.A.N.D.Y and Audiofly, who are also on her label. So Heidi, tonight you are playing at our party. It's the Adidas and Accelerator 15-year anniversary.
Yes, I'm excited.
Actually, you've been on tour with M.A.N.D.Y and Audiofly for what, 3 weeks now?
Yes, for almost 3 weeks. It's been an adventure.
And you're on tour on a bus, right?
It was all flights until last Sunday, and the bus started in Boston. And then it's been like every night since Sunday on the tour bus, which is also an experience if you're the only girl.
At what point did you get into electronic music? Because you were kind of a rock, from a rock background, right?
Yes, yes. I'm an indie girl at heart. 97, I can tell you. I met Richie Houghton. Yeah, we kind of became friends, and I started going to some of his parties in Detroit and Windsor. And I was like, whoa. This is pretty cool. This is like completely different from going to see Spiritualize at St. Andrews Hall in Detroit. And I loved it. I just loved it. Then I moved to England, like pretty much that year. And then that's when it really took off because it's such a huge thing in Europe. We opened up Phonica like 4.5 years ago, and it was like, it's a phenomenon because it was like we kind of helped create a scene in London that wasn't there before, like with the help of Fabric, you know, the club. Like they weren't afraid to book DJs that nobody knew, and we weren't afraid to stock their music. And it kind of just eventually filtered out into London and other places, and now it's just huge.
What kind of music were you playing when you started out? Is it different than what?
No, I've always kind of had the same groove. That's why I think that I did so well with them. It's because I had something a little bit different. Maybe because I was from Windsor, Ontario, like I grew up next to Detroit, and I was really influenced by the Chicago stuff, and living in England, and I had like that little bit, and then going to Berlin, and so I take like little bits of everything and mix it all up, and like I don't ever play usually the same style like all night. I'm not like a really linear DJ. I'm more of like a party DJ. I like to kind of get the hands in the air and see the butt shaking, but some people are more technical, and I'm the opposite.
All right, so we've come to the point in the interview where we're going to do a kind of secret jukebox feature. So
I like this idea.
So many questions have been made about this new dance code called S.
I played this as my last song the other night in Philadelphia. Worry something. Right? Yeah, that's it.
Is that kind of your foundation for
I love,
you play?
Yeah, totally. I'm totally acidy, jacking, like hand clap, cowbell house music. I love it so much. If I could, I would play it all night long.
Do you have any favorite artists from that genre? Like
Farley Jackmaster Funk was a big one for me, who I loved, and Adonis, of course. I love all of it. The really like diva vocal ones I'm not so keen on, but like the ones with the just talking over top of the records, I really like. DJ Assault. This record's so great, and it's so funny. I love a bit of humor in my music. Broke as hoes. Broke as hoes. So great. I have like all this stuff when it came out, and I just bought it for my own personal love. Now like all the like DJs like Justice and Boys Noise and all these big like electric guys are dropping all this stuff. They're getting like DJ Funk to play at their parties, and it never ever kicked off in England because English people do not know how to dance to this music. They're like, oh dear, no way, I could never shake my ass like that. You can only take an hour of it because after an hour of dancing that, you're like,
Yo!
I love this stuff so much. You know me, I'm like a bass junkie. Anything that's like, just like... Oh, who wants a rerun? I don't know who that is, but I love it. Okay, he lived in Brixton for 4 years and he used to go to Abashanti's Recreation Center. You would walk in there and I swear to God, you thought your ribs were gonna break in half. The bass was just like, boom. The sound systems were so massive, like the bass bins were like the size of that wall. Pot smoke was just like thick as pea soup. You're like walking in there like, really dark red lights and just, yeah, awesome. I like that a lot. But you have to be in the mood for that stuff and you have to wear some serious earplugs. Sounds like classic, man. Geyser, I don't know, all their stuff sounds the same. Geyser, Marcool, Magda, Troy Pierce. Troy Pierce, there we go.
The Troy Pierce mix of Ellen Alien. So it's like super Berlin.
Yeah, very Berlin. The Minus Crew they have in the package, they have a really good sound. Like Geyser and Marcool, I can differentiate more away from the rest of them because they're just a little bit like Geyser's really like swingy, funky, back in techno. Mark's like computer game sort of stuff. You have to be able to play it in the right way to make it work, I think. Otherwise, it just bores me to tears, you know? I'm just like, ugh. I think, you know, that's why those guys are so great at what they do, is because they know how to play those records in a way that is like a record in itself. It's like its own sound, and they're really good at taking like people on journeys. And I love listening to that stuff at home. I mean, and maybe like I also like it at like 5 or 6 in the morning. You know, just when the party's winding down slowly. It's like the perfect music to listen to. I like it then. No!
How to do it?
No! M.A.N.D.Y versus Booka Shade, Body Language. The record I've heard played more than any other record in the world. And you know what though? And it was such a breakthrough crossover record. I swear it catapulted like that label into another realm, basically. Every single DJ, whether you were like a house DJ, a techno DJ, a progressive house DJ, a blah 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 blah. I remember like reading like a Ibiza magazine, like the charts, and it was like every single DJ had that in their chart, and it was just the biggest hit of such a summer record. When Booka Shade do it live, it's great. It's a classic record, and I'll be able to listen to it in 10 years' time.
What's the best advice you've ever received about DJing?
Try and get as much sleep as possible. Always like, go home. Don't just stay because of the, I did that for years. I was like, no, I want to go home. And it was like 2 days later and you're like, what am I doing here still? And people respect you more for going home. They wish they could do it. It's been a while since there's been some DJs that have blown my mind, you know? I don't know, maybe I'm just so used to being in control now and that I have a hard time paying attention to anything else. But there is DJs that have just blown my mind, and I'll always go and see them play, no matter what. If you were, say you're in a bad mood and you went to this club and heard this DJ that may not have been playing something that you liked, but all of a sudden it just changed your mood and it turns you into somebody else that night. You can be somebody else for the evening. That's how I look at it, I guess.